PS2 classics are finally making its way to the PS4 and 5 console starting this month. However, it's a really late and slow implementation of this feature. Let's get it. New PS2 games are finally coming to PS5 and 4. Subtitle, Sony has finally listened to PlayStation fans. So you got a finally in the title and one in the subtitle as well. And what this refers to is the fact that we're 3.5 years into the console's life cycle. And the only way to have played PS2 games up until now, keep in mind with the PS Plus subscription, you could play select PS1 titles, but no PS2 games. So your only options were PC emulation with the PCSX2 emulator, which I think I did a tutorial of like 3 or 4 years ago. YouTube didn't like it, slapped me with a little pinch on the tuchus, which is weird because emulation in and of itself is not illegal or bad. Or you could try and hunt down a decent condition PS3 glossy fat model and then build up a disc collection of PS1, 2, and 3 games. So technically you would only need 2 PlayStation consoles to play the entire library. You got your PS5 for 4 and 5 games, and then you got that glossy fat PS3 for 3 and previous games. But now in June of 24, 3 PS2 classics are making its way to the PS4 and 5 consoles, that being Star Wars The Clone Wars, Sly Cooper, and the Thievius Raccoonus, that's one game with a long title, and then Tomb Raider Legend. Now when I first heard the lineup, the launch lineup, I was scratching my tuchus a little bit thinking, no Grand Theft Auto, but then I processed a little bit more. Oh, that's right, Rockstar's got its definitive trilogy out there. But there were a lot of other standout titles from the PS2 era that I thought would be headliners ahead of Sly Cooper and Tomb Raider Legend, which nothing against those titles. Where's the Max Payne? So it's understandable that GTA is not there. Same thing with Resident Evil 4 because that's been remastered, re-ass blastered so many times for so many platforms. But where's Final Fantasy X? Where's Ratchet and Clank? Where's Devil May Cry? Where's Burnout Tree? Where's Gran Turismo 4? Where's Kingdom Hearts? Where's Jack and his brother in Daxter? A lot of really popular PS2 games should be here. SSX Tricky for you snowboarders? That's right. So it is kind of surprising that this wasn't implemented back in 2022 when Sony did that major revision to its PS Plus subscription service, introducing a new tier called PS Plus Premium, which added classic games, but that only being PS1 games and a really slim library. Real quick, I hate to get off topic again, but if you're looking for just PlayStation 1 emulation, you can build yourself something like a Pi 4 single board computer and do retro emulation on that, or get one of those PlayStation mini consoles, which has a really lackluster library of 20 games, but you can basically unlock or front load those with little sticks that you acquire online. They have like the whole PlayStation library in there, which I'm sure is a legal backup of games that you have owned at one point in time. Point is, PS1 games have been very easy to play, but PS2 emulation a little bit harder because it hasn't really been offered by Sony, and the emulation requires a little bit more horsepower than PS1 emulation, so you need a little bit more than something like a single board computer you scrap together for 80 bucks. So the journalist here makes a note that assumedly the trio of these 3 PS2 games should also be purchasable on their own, piecemeal, a la carte if you will, from the PS Store. We'll have to see about that because that'd be really interesting if it was blocked behind a PS Plus subscription, kind of like what we see with NSO or Nintendo Switch Online, which I do really like the convenience factor of having Sega Genesis games, NES, SNES on the Switch because it's like a perfect platform for that. Little handheld tablet, super lightweight, doesn't make much fan noise or any really at all. It's not like the Steam Deck, but you need an NSO subscription to access all those games. You can't go onto the Nintendo Store, the eShop, and buy those a la carte. So it'll be interesting to see if Sony allows you to do that. So for me personally, I'm still going to stick to, I don't know why I'm talking all pretentious like that, because I'm about to say that I personally am going to stick with PC emulation with PCSX2 because you can actually upscale PS2 games to 4K with frame generation and all this crazy stuff to make it look way more fluid and smooth. But the fact that Sony is finally allowing PS2 games to be perhaps purchased, but definitely within a subscription service on their consoles, their current generation consoles, is great. It's just sad that this took 3 years. And that leads me to my final sentiment of this video, and that is the fact that the 9th generation home consoles, the Xbox Series S and X and the PlayStation 5, you've probably heard me say this a lot, around the launch of the consoles, they're kind of half-baked. Launch lineup of games, accessories that should have been ready at launch. For example, the DualSense Edge Pro controller. That would have been a fantastic piece of hardware to have had ready at the launch of the console. The swappable accessory side panels and plates, all these things that were added down the road could have completed the ecosystem of the consoles when they were launched. And furthermore than all that, if you don't give a shit about the PSVR 2 headset or the Pro controller or or this or that. How about just a decent launch library of games? Things have gotten a lot sweeter over the last 3 years, I will say. More so on the Nintendo and PlayStation side of the house. Things have been slipping on a banana peel over there for our lime green brethren. With Xbox, crazy that it took 3 years to get PS2 games on the PlayStation 5, because I honestly believe 50, 60 PS2 games should have been playable at launch with trophy support and upscaling and some modern niceties. Maybe I'm just asking for a little bit too much. Drop in the comment section below what you're going to be asking for this Christmas from these big video game companies. What would you like to see? And I'll see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description, because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, KontrolFreeks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more Stallions and Stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better, so mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.